Good morning. Here's Norma Cowie here with the reading for the month of November. Seems hard to believe we're coming into November. Today is October the 29th. As I put this reading out, what I saw was a lot of what we've seen in previous months, because the first two symbols both represent money. So let's go through this bit by bit, as usual. 10 of Pentacles is definitely a money card. We all like to see it because it means money is around. But I need to point out the next symbol that follows it. So this is like the first few, I think about 4 days at least in November, a lot of talk about money. Now, we've had this over the last few months. Money, 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 like what's going on with the money situation. How's things, everything. Now, I just want to clarify, because I forgot to do this in the beginning. This reading is for North America, the US and Canada, because I live in Canada, and we're kind of tied together a lot. A lot of people that we're two different countries, but we also inhabit this whole North America. So, not just counting Mexico, which is down there. And according to me, because I'm on the top side, Mexico's on the bottom. But US and Canada have been sort of cousins through a lot of different things, and we'll just put it that way. So I think in the first few days, there'll be a lot of money talk. And it's not really decided because of this number 7. Number 7 is always hesitancy. You're looking at, and it's not completed yet. 10 is much more like, this is the plan, And then comes all the discussion of the plan or what they're planning or not planning. And many times we don't know what's going behind the doors. What's really happening behind those doors and their talks and things like that. But what is really interesting, after seeing all this money element, we're coming into, I'm just trying to keep track of the months here as we go along. We come into the 6 of Wands. Now, I always like this symbol because it's like moving ahead with all your ideas aligned. So whatever has gone on in these first 4, maybe even 5 days, it's all going to come out into the plan. Now, the plan isn't that right now because it's planned. This symbol always talks about movement forward. And the key to this symbol is victory is assured. In other words, we have our ideas figured out now. We know where we're going and what we're doing. And that will probably take from, I want to say that right through to about the 7th or 8th, because the 8th also has a wand symbol, but it's an attitude of let's go ahead. In other words, all the plans, whatever plans they are, have now been made, and everybody is in agreement. So we've got an agreement of where we're heading and where we're going. This all looks really clear, really understood. Some of us will like, I'm sure, the plan, others may not, but that's, individual. But then we hit a stalemate. When we're coming up to, I've even forgotten where we are in dates, so my brain is not as functional today, I guess. So this is kind of like in the 10, 11, 12s. This is another attitude. The Knight of Wands is what we call an attitude, moving ahead. This is another attitude where we're set. So whatever they're going to go ahead stalls. This is procrastination in motion, where you get caught up in what's in the mind, all the what ifs and the maybes and the perhapses, but nothing is happening. There's no action in this symbol except the mind. The mind is going ahead and making great. This cup here looks nothing like a cup. It's all elaborated. So there's lots of things that are moving on and around. So as we get into the middle teens, again, we get back to the money. Now, anybody who studied economics, which I did when I was in college, knows money is it's kind of a movement of trade, payment of things, But this is like, okay, it's like somebody's got the money here. And it's feeling kind of good about what's going on. So I think this is a temporary, and it looks to me like the late teens, early 20s. It's like a temporary, like breathing space. So that'll be interesting to see what's going on there. Only to find the next thing we're all upset about everything. This is the Five of Cups. Now we had the Queen of Cups where there's all this imagination and it looks nothing like a cup. If you're not used to the cup symbology, I'll bring up the next symbol, which is also the Page of Cup, which is the attitude. So that's what a cup looks not normally. But in the Queen of Cups, look how fancy that cup is. That's our imagination and how it gets carried away. And so here we are with another attitude, getting caught up in the what ifs and the maybes, looking in, but no. Now, which way did I have that? That way, I think. But here we're sad about what's going on. Our plans, our ideals of what we want, because in this particular symbol, the Five of Cups, it is the background that is so important because it's what we call the castle of dreams, which is the goal, the river of life. That's where we got to go to get to the castle of dreams. Sad, 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 sad. Not happy, not happy. So who's not happy? That's what it doesn't show here. But because we're looking at these two countries, it can be like, I know sometimes Canada gets upset with what we have to do with America and the trades and the tariffs that are going on right now, etc. So it's like being so waiting for the surprises of whatever, because, sometimes people call us the country cousin, but of course we don't feel that way. But the whole thing here ends up with the Empress, which is love, happiness, everything in its right place. So when I look at this for November, to me, it's like scrambled eggs. You like scrambled eggs, but it's all, the egg itself is all scrambled up with whatever you've put in it and made it. And so this to me is, again, another analogy could be ever played hopscotch? Where you hop from things to things, and then as kids, we used to mark them out with chalk and play hopscotch. This feels a little like that. Like 1 minute we're over here with money, money, money. Then we kind of got ideas and, we can't do that. We want to do that. And then we come back to the money again. Everything's cool. Everything's organized. Disappointment. What are we going to do? And then finally it's like, this is a solution. I just think November is going to be a rough month economically because things aren't clear. Planning wise, I think you're going to hear this and then you're going to hear that and then you're going to hear another thing. And it's like, where do we put what is real? The Queen of Cups very often has to do like with what is real, because the cup looks nothing like any other cup. It's just exaggeration. Imagination's gone crazy. We imagine this, we imagine that. If we do this, this will happen. If we do that, that will happen. Does it? Not necessarily. And so a lot of the imagination conjecture goes on. I still think the bottom line in this month of November is around money, one way or another. I don't see fighting. Some people have said, who knows what else is going on out there. But we're not looking at the world. We're looking at two countries that work together most times. And they're also putting together, because right in the middle is this Five of Cups, which is not a happy card. It's because if you look very closely at this card, 3 cups have fallen over, 2 are behind. You have to turn around to see those 2 that are there. But the 2 take you across the river of life with the bridge to the castle of dreams, which is the goal. In the meantime, there's a lot of sadness here, an uncertainty, an unsureness of what's happening or what's going. But at the same point, we end up with all this wonderful things. All this wonderful things. It's like we take a big sigh. So that makes me think of like, okay, I don't look at December till we get very close to December. But it's this to me, if I was like really walking this, which I do when I look at them, it's like a rocky road. Works, then it's trying to scramble it, then it comes down, and then it's like imagination's going crazy again. And I find the Queen of Cups very deceitful because it's like our minds are in there and imagines everything, and it makes it grow up bigger than maybe what it needs to. But it's this money thing. These symbols here say that the money's okay, but to me, knowing what I've seen in the months before, it's like trying to figure out how, what, when, and where. To me, there's an underlying river relating to the money element. And then these ideas, and the ideas look good because there's nothing here saying these are not great ideas. So there's going to be some great ideas that comes out. But this Queen of Cups that sits here, that's always exaggerated. It's like when your imagination takes off and you're not dealing with reality. That's the one thing that is unfortunate. That's the only thing I really like, and the Five of Cups, which is upset. But that's the value of life with the cup symbology. Oh, the Page of Cups is there too. So it's like there's a surprise going to come, and I think everyone's going to be happy. Anyway, there's no real disaster in here. There's been a lot of talk. A lot of all sorts of things going on. Do we go this way? Do we go that way? Do they go the other way or whatever? No matter what, it's always about what is our philosophy around life? What do we believe? Who do we go to ask for clarity or wisdom or knowingness? Or do we just listen to people like myself or others and then think that, well, this is what it is. This is always like, I always put this down as entertainment because things can change on a dime. I know that because I've been reading for so many years and for so many people. And I know in people's lives. Now, here we're looking at two countries, and things don't move that fast when you're dealing in politics and when you're dealing in economics in countries, like in what's happening and what's going on. But we've been watching the money thing happening for several months now. And it's like, I think it's coming more to a, well, we're not into December yet, more into I was going to say crisis, but a more explained, more out, more aware where we're heading and where we're going. And the main thing is, how are you going to enjoy this November? To me, all of a sudden here we are in fall, and it kind of snuck up on me a little bit, but that's because I had all sorts of things happening and going on through the summer for myself personally. And now it's like, oh, okay, what am I going to do? Christmas is coming. I got to think about that. Christmas, at the end, I should say, of October, I suddenly think, oh, Christmas is coming. Well, isn't it? Next month. Because I'm thinking November now. Well, next month is December month, the end of the year. Not the end of winter, though, but it is the end of the year, which is Christmas, and that's a lot. Plus, for us, it usually means, even though we get snow much later than other places, we usually have some snow around. So there's all sorts of things that go on in transition type of clothing, footwear, outer clothing, things like that all go on. Now, people just take that for granted, but the reality is there's thought behind it all. And a lot of you, by having to buy new things, that costs money. If we can bring that down in a little bit easier, or in a way. Anyway, what I want you to be aware of is that life is what you make it, how you handle things, how you deal with it, what you see. Sometimes we can get all caught up with what's happening in the big picture, but how much power do we, as the average person, have? Probably not as much as we would like. But that's the way it goes. But what we do have control over is how we think, how we feel, and our actions, our own personal actions. And that is where power lies. That's where our power is, and that's how we create. And that's where we go to create the life we want and enjoy. And sometimes I know I do, I get caught up some of the other things I used to, especially when I was younger, get caught up in all the hub that was going on. It's like, stay centered, stay with your goals. As you know, for those that have listened for the last few years, I'm really big on goal setting. And usually I take December, the end of December, to set my goals for the next year. I actually put them away and then look later at the end of the year and say, oh, yeah, I got that. Or I didn't get many of those because of my what becomes dominant, what happens, where does it go, where do we live? Anyway, I think November is going to be an interesting month. I didn't get too much a sense on the weather yet. I think it's going to be just like November often is. There's storms for us up here, storms come in and out, and then the snow starts to fly a little bit. I can feel that coming, actually. I think a bit more snow than where I am than we usually get, but that's all right. I thought all sorts of things in the summer before the summer arrived, and I was pretty right on. But it's like your life is your life, and you create it no matter what. And how do we create it? It's by how we think, how we feel, and how we respond. Those are basic metaphysical principles. Most people are not aware of how they think. And wherever you put power behind your thought is going to occur, because that's what the universe picks up. If you call it God, fine, whatever you call it, that universal energy out there. It does not control you. But if you have a thought with a lot of power and energy, and guess some emotional energy is very powerful, you have to watch what your thoughts are inside that little thought bubble, because the universe goes, oh, this is really wanted, and bang, next thing you know, you're dealing with whatever it was you had in that moment. It's learning self-discipline on the thought and then the feeling that goes into the thought. Some people have lots of thoughts with very little feeling, so it gets scattered and they're not really organized. Others have a lot of feeling with very little thought. We need to combine the two. Our head, the thought patterning, our feelings, that fire, that's the energy. We are two people in that sense, and we need to balance that, and that's where the heart is, up here. So we bring about the essence of, I've lived my life. I know I've had moments when I've created quite yucky things because I wasn't present in my mind, and a lot of emotion running around. So I had to learn these things. Even though people might have said them to me, not many people said them. I just had to learn how it worked. And plus I asked, because I had guides. I have non-physical people who taught me a lot. Some of them immense a lot. And so as the years ticked by and I made mistakes and got myself into trouble sometimes because I wasn't more of a non-thinker, like, what do you call that, when you respond quickly without thinking? I had a lot of that when I was younger. And just recognize life is here for you to create the best life you can have. And that means being conscious, being aware of your thoughts, and in particular, the energy that goes into the thought. Anyway, I think that's done for us. We'll look forward to see how November absolutely unfolds. I usually kind of check a little bit and see what happens, but it's it's a little good. What day is it today? Wednesday. So a little short one for Sunday morning, and then back for a mental mind treatment on Monday. And by the way, people are just get emails thanking me, and we found that the more you come and do the same thing, the quicker and easier it works. I'm very pleased with that. All blessings. Have fun today, and I'll see you. Bye.